Yeah, good morning. It's great to be together with Michelle this morning. Michelle Miller, better known as the Farm Babe. Michelle, welcome with us here today. We thank you for giving up your time to be here. And tell us a bit more about getting your name, the Farm Babe.
Oh, great question, and it's a funny story. So yeah, I went to college in Los Angeles and I got a visual communications degree in the fashion industry, and I ended up working for Gucci on Rodeo Drive. So very much a big city girl, fashionista from LA to Chicago, lived in those big cities and had a sales career for a while, and I actually ended up dating a farmer. And so I moved to a town of 1,000 people in Iowa and became a farmer with him. So we were growing corn and soybeans and raising cattle and sheep, and I started to learn firsthand all the truths of modern agriculture. And as a city girl, I didn't realize just how misinformed I was. And so I started a blog on Facebook called Farm Babe, and that's where it all began. And I became passionate about debunking myths and sharing the truth, giving science a bigger voice in the food and agriculture space. So that's how it all started 11 years ago.
Why would you do it?
Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and as a city girl that really couldn't afford a lot of expensive groceries, I was buying them anyway because I felt that if I wasn't paying for the top dollar food that I was doing a disservice to the planet or the animals. So I was the girl that would buy organic, non-GMO, all natural, antibiotic free, whatever food label I could get my hands on is what I was buying because I cared so much about animals and the planet. And so I spent way too much money on groceries. And when I actually became a farmer and I realized that everything I thought I knew was wrong, I was like, I kind of wanted to take revenge on my wallet and also give back to the farmers who are wonderful salt of the earth people, but their story really gets lost in the media shuffle. And so I became passionate about it because the more I was learning, the more I realized I had been duped. And so many people are duped that don't know they are. And so their feelings resonate well with me because I know what it feels like to be the urban consumer thinking you're making the right choice, only to realize a lot of food labels are not as great as they are made out to be.
How do we measure the results of your advocacy for agriculture? Are we succeeding in the message? Is it getting through, and do we know it's getting through?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a number of ways that we can tell how well the message is received. Some of it is just through basic pushback and having companies change their marketing strategy. But overall, what's nice about being in the social media space is we have access to all of the data. And so instead of the old school way of doing things, where it was like magazine ads or television commercials or billboards, maybe people aren't watching TV like they used to, or they're not picking up a physical magazine. It's all switching over to digital and media and social media. So you figure, hey, if you're reaching, let's say, 75 million people a year, if 10% of them, or heck, if even 1% of them realize, hey, I feel more comfortable eating meat, taking what you do as a scientist and turning it into a digestible, pun intended, soundbite.
That sounds good.
Where the consumer can say, oh, I get it now. And so it's kind of about just being the middleman of the relatable consumer that say, hey, city person, I understand you. Hey, farmer, I understand you. We just have to have these worlds come together. And so how can we make that happen in a way that everybody can understand? And that's really what I'm passionate about.
Michelle, during our time together, you've mentioned the Burger King story a couple of times. Could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, the Burger King story is crazy. So a couple of years ago, Burger King came out with this ad that was called Cow's Menu, and it was talking about how livestock are destroying the planet and cow farts are ruining the planet. And it was a horrible ad of little kids singing with gas masks on, and just, it was terrible. And so they basically were saying Burger King's solution to helping the planet was feeding lemongrass to cattle, saying that if we feed lemongrass to cattle, we could reduce methane emissions by up to a third. And so their whole thing is, well, Burger King is more sustainable because we're feeding lemongrass to cattle, which is reducing methane. And the ad was put out, and it was really ugly. So I just did a Google search to be like, who is the global chief marketing officer of Burger King? And I just sent him a tweet explaining why we found the ad so offensive. And Burger King actually reached out to me, and we had a conversation, and I said, look, like, reducing methane and caring about the planet and sustainability is a very noble cause. But the good news is that farmers and ranchers are doing wonderful things already to help in that regard. So why don't you come out to the farm, and I'd love to show you. And so Burger King actually did. So here we are, C-level executives coming on my farm in Iowa with a camera crew. I put together a tour full of ruminant nutritionists. I took them to a methane digester, to cattle feedlots, had Iowa Iowa State University just brought in the experts, Iowa Farm Bureau, and did this big, 2-day powwow where we could really showcase sustainability in animal agriculture. And Burger King listened. They put out a new commercial, a new ad that was filmed on my farm, and they ended up retracting and taking down that original ad. Here you are as the head of marketing for one of the world's largest burger chains, and you've never been to a cattle farm.
That's absolutely amazing.
That is insane, right? So the more I'm into this business, the more I'm like, wow, you guys, you need to speak up. We need to be proactive and not reactive. So the next time Burger King can say, hey, you know what? I want to highlight farmers. For our next ad, we want to be pro-farmer. And there's a lot of power in that, but it's up to us as experts to be, to not be so shy, to really speak up on what we do, because there's never been a better time and a more important time for us to speak up on that.
Great, that's fantastic, and thank you for the time.
Thank you as well.